do you know what? No, and just make a kind of filthy protest and then leave.
I thought you might be turning down the OB because you had your eye on the main on the bigger chance, on the sword, on the knight. You don't even want the knighthood.
It would be tricky, wouldn't it, to turn down a knighthood?
Because of course, having all that money in itself is quite divisive. So if you want to go the whole hog, you should give it all away.
Let's go to the news. From 1996, Cake and The Distance, and if you remember Cake with fondness, you'll be ecstatic to know that they're playing a gig in London on the 12th of July, and they'll also be at the Latitude Festival the day after. It's the Steve Show, BBC Six Music, with me, Stephen Merchant, and in our recent search for a she-jay, I often mentioned that we didn't really know any women, certainly any women that we'd want to have on the radio, and certainly none that were kind of musically aware. And I forgot, of course, that I do have a friend who is able to speak coherently, but sadly I've had to fly her in from the United States of America, and she's here now, and she's adding a bit of sort of transatlantic glamour to the studio. It's Rashida. Round of applause in the Steve Wright style to Rashida.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed for coming in. Are you nervous?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah?
A little bit.
Is that just because you're hanging out with broadcasting professionals such as myself, or because you've not done radio before?
No, it's because Sammy's sitting next to me, and she's cool and a female, and
sure.
much better at this, obviously.
Is there a certain cattiness when two women are in the room? Is there suddenly now a kind of rivalry? Is there something simmering in the air?
No, I think, no.
No?
No, I think there's a camaraderie.
Is there?
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember when I first started working at the BBC, and we walked in, there was a bunch of us that never met each other before, and I've never seen it so transparent, the women hating each other instantly.
Really?
just looking each other. But it's really weird, just looking each other up and down, looking at the shoes, do you know what I mean? Just openly, clearly judging, assessing. You know, whereas at least men sort of surreptitiously do that behind their back.
Yeah. Well, luckily we're wearing the same outfit, so there's really nothing to look at.
That's cool. That's good. Now, of course, you have some musical credentials. Is that fair to say?
I think indirectly.
Right.
Indirectly.
And do you want to explain why that is?
Well, I grew up with a musical family, and my father is a musician.
Right.
Quincy Jones. And happy Father's Day. Forgot about it, but
is he listening?
Father's Day. Probably not.
Well, that's annoying.
Felt like
it'd be nice to have a celebrity listener.
Can you
nice to have a listener.
Sweden? I don't know. He's in Sweden.
He's in Sweden at the moment. I like the fact you've. It must be awkward when you mentioned that your father's Quincy Jones to not. You know, you don't want to sound immodest.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's no reason to be proud.
Right.
I mean, obviously it's his achievement. You know, he just gave birth to you.
Exactly.
Well, he didn't. Your mother did. But you know what I mean. But what I'm saying is, it's not. It's not naturally. You know, it's not naturally like. You know, it's like when I say I know Ricky Gervais. You know, it doesn't mean like I've got his talent.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just means I've got his phone number.
Right.
And but you know, it must be weird to kind of grow up with a man like that because you know, he's a jazz legend and a producing legend. And so, was it a musical family? Was there lots of endless music going on?
There was a lot of music going on because we had a studio in our house when I was little. Yeah. So there was a lot of hanging out.
Sure. And was there that whiff of rock and roll behind closed doors that perhaps you weren't, you know, as a kid you shouldn't really be, you know, the smell of something suspicious drifting out of?
I don't know if it's genre specific, because really it was, you know, all kind of R&B and jazz, and everybody was pretty, you know, raunchy, subversive activity going on.
And growing up in LA and in that kind of, I imagine you lived in quite a nice part of LA.
Yeah. Bel Air.
Bel Air, isn't that, so you're kind of posh in the way that Rufus, because Rufus grew up on a kind of vast estate, we assume, in somewhere kind of rarefied. But, so was it Beverly Hills 90210, is it that kind of vibe?
Yes. I mean, you know, yes and no. Beverly Hills is a little more flat. We lived in the hills.
Sure. And I just, you know, someone like me growing up in kind of the West Country, you know, in a tiny little house, poor, father coming home from the mine, you know, we would think of, you know, glamorous Bel Air as being sort of the...
It was very nice.
It's not usually the topography people think about when they think about LA, I think. when you talk to people from Bristol and Newcastle and indeed London about LA, it's not like flat and hilly, it's just like, but... What was it like?
Yeah, exactly.
The topography, not so much, you know.
It was beautiful. I mean, definitely a beautiful home, but we weren't that aware that we had money. I mean, we weren't incredibly spoiled. And also, I grew up and I went to school with, I was older then, but went to school with Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie, like pretty much everybody you see on the cover of a magazine who doesn't really have a job but people care about.
But interestingly, you're not a vacuous bitch. So how did you prevent
You
yourself?
don't know me well enough.
Well, maybe not, but from what I understand, you're not. And and so how do you prevent that happening in that environment?
There was no autonomous prevention. I think I will give all that credit to my parents.
Right.
That's a parenting issue.
Yeah.
I was never wanted to be seen by other people and, famous for no reason.
Do you want to be famous for a reason?
For a reason.
Right, exactly. And have you visited Paris in jail? Have you tried to smuggle in a file?
No.
Not to kind of get out of prison, just a file of nails, obviously. Yeah.
A file of papers.
A file of papers, yeah.
She needs to do some filing in there.
Sure.
Of my taxes. But no, I haven't. But I've been following closely. Not really closely, but I've been seeing pictures of her crying and sad. The truth is, I think they are being a little harsh on her. She's become this object.
Yeah, of hate.
Of hate, yeah. And she's definitely suffering for everybody's kind of superficial, lame LA lifestyles. But
she's like in that respect, like a kind of Christ-like figure in a way. She sort of martyred herself.
She's a martyr
for the sort of vacuousness of LA.
Because the sheriff said that she will end up serving more time for this particular crime than anybody who's ever committed this crime.
Like Myra Hindley. The photo of Myra Hindley kept her in jail for a whole life. That photo of Paris Hilton with her hair tucked around, one shoulder, that's going to keep her in prison for years, hopefully.
I just like to make myself distanced from the comparison between Paris Hilton and Myra Hindley that Rufus just made. I think you'll find that is breaking any number of libel laws there. Just like to point out that Myra is not as vacuous or as empty-headed as Paris.
At least she had a job for her.
At least she had a job for her.
No, I take that back.
We've got to move on.
Stitching mailbags.
Now, of course, the reason that we get people into the studio is not just to talk about their showbiz lifestyle, it's to play music and to get musical choices from them. And you've chosen some songs for us, Rashida. What's the first one you've chosen?
The first one I've chosen is my father's cover of Superstition, which I like particularly because he doesn't really sing, and he's singing on this track with legends such as Bill Withers, and it's just like a fun party album.
Let's hear it. Superstition, Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones and Friends and his version of Stevie Wonder's Superstition. What a great version. I have to say, that was dynamite. Yeah, I just love that kind of, they're just going for it there. Just having, as you say, a kind of musical party. Yeah, this is the thing that frustrates me endlessly by not being able to play or do music of any kind. Is that it just looks so liberating.
So fun.
Yeah.
So fun, it is. Actually, I was talking about this with a friend the other day, how being in the studio, it was better than having cake on my birthday.
Really?
As a kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And did you understand the significance when Bill Withers or whoever was coming in? Did that mean anything to you as a kid?
I mean, really, I would say that the significant featured, highlighted person in her life was Michael Jackson.
Right, yeah.
There wasn't a kid in the world who was 8 years old and wasn't excited that Michael Jackson was doing whatever. Well, but he was around a lot, and that was always exciting.
And so obviously when your father was producing Thriller, was it the home studio there that you?
No, that was at Westlake, which was not.
Right. And obviously I'm not going to ask about Jacko because it's very much a private thing, and the man's got many people who try and probe his life. But what's your sort of abiding memory of that period?
Well, we did spend a lot of time in groups, kids at his house playing games, eating candy, playing with animals, and Bubbles.
The monkey,
Bubbles, had a really traumatic experience where he kind of attacked me.
You were attacked by Bubbles.
I was attacked by Bubbles.
Can we just have a Steve Wright-style round of applause? I'd like to say the last person who's come on the show and has been attacked by Michael Jackson's pet monkey. Email us on 64046. Have you been attacked by a celebrity's pet?
Yeah, he bit right there. He bit my
Is that a scar there?
Yeah, this one here.
That scar there, manufactured by a caged monkey.
Like that.
And so what were you poking, were you prodding him? Were you making fun of him?
Well, I wasn't making fun of him, but he was throwing things at me, videotapes, books. He was kind of wild. And I went up and I tried to discipline him, and I kind of slapped him on the head and said no. And he didn't like that very much.
So you attacked You
I did attack
physically
a monkey.
attacked
I attacked a
Bubbles,
monkey.
and he rightly slashed out at you.
I definitely take responsibility, but I was 10.
Sure. When you say he was he just wandering around then? He was playing video games and
I
stuff?
also let him out of his cage by accident.
You provoked him.
I did.
You did.
The story's getting worse and worse.
It's terrible. You're so
I was looking
clearly
for sympathy.
No, he was so right to attack.
Yeah, you're right.
You've
He's a
provoked
monkey.
him.
He was a monkey in diapers. What do you call it? Nappies, whatever you call it. And clothes. I mean, come on. He was going to attack somebody eventually.
What was he wearing, clothes-wise?
Little, what do you call them?
Overalls?
Overalls.
Dungarees.
Brilliant.
And like little stripe crew neck shirts and
Very
shoes.
similar outfit.
Do you?
Did you sometimes trampoline with it?
Trampolining,
As well as the chimp.
But he just was treated like a baby, and the truth is, he's a wild animal.
Sure.
And I unfortunately had to experience that.
Yeah. And when you lunged in for the attack,
It was quick.
It was quick.
He grabbed my hand. I thought we were going to be friends, and then he just took it like a sandwich and bit it into it really hard.
oh wow!
And it bled everywhere. And I
you
was
obviously
hysterical.
Yeah.
yeah. You're bad. You shouted.
It was really bad.
And so we rushed to the.
I was
hospital?
rushed to the doctors. My sister stayed at Michael's. She's really sweet, sympathetic sister. I was like, I'm not leaving the candy.
Right, of course.
What? No way.
And
Yeah.
Michael must have been worried as well.
He was mortified. He felt really bad.
Yeah.
He felt really bad.
And did he change his outfit? Did because I imagine there was blood. Was there running down his dungarees?
Oh, the monkey. I thought
Yeah.
you meant Michael.
No. I meant the monkey.
Michael
yeah,
changed the monkey's
no,
outfit.
Yeah,
because it was white for a long time. You know, when you do one of those really deep cuts, it was white for a long time, and I just kind of stared at it until it started gushing.
Yeah. Wow.
Do you think Michael dressed up Bubbles in some sort of ridiculous outfit to humiliate Bubbles
Yeah,
for a while?
punishment.
Dressed with
Maybe,
Bo Peep or
maybe.
something for a bit, and then in prison kind of convicts.
Paris Hilton style.
Yeah, exactly.
Dunce cap.
Yeah.
I'm not sure anyone's ever going to beat that story on this radio show. I think it's like we've hit a high here. And
I'd like to challenge somebody to that title. I would.
Has anyone got a more extraordinary anecdote?
Ridiculous.
Than that? Yeah, it's so ridiculous. All right, so what's your second musical choice for us?
My second song is by Shuggy Otis. It's called Inspiration Information, and I didn't discover the song until 5 years ago when I think they re-released his album.
Right.
What was it on? I can't remember which label it was on, but anyway, he had done the original version of Strawberry Letter, which my dad then produced with the Brothers Johnson. So that was kind of how I discovered it, and he's just amazing.
And Shuggy was one of those people whose kind of reputation now is sort of is amongst muso circles very high,
Yeah.
but he's essentially forgotten by most people. And he was one of those kind of, before Prince, he was one of those people who kind of played every instrument and was just generally a kind of musical sort of jazzy funk genius.
Exactly.
And I only think a couple of albums and then just sort of disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I think I think he had some problems, but he's definitely the kind of person I feel very comfortable introducing to everybody else because he's a genius. And
Inspiration, Information, Shuggy Otis. Hi, welcome back. Yeah, sorry, we were just caught there chit-chatting and whatever else. It was Inspiration Information by Shuggy Otis, the second choice of my guest here, Rashida. We need to go to a trail, and then we'll be back with more music. Speak to you shortly. It's me, Stephen Merchant. It's The Steve Show. Welcome back. And we're here with Rashida, just chatting about her exotic life in Los Angeles. I'll be honest with you, it's going to be tough now to top the Bubbles story.
Good luck.
So thanks for coming. Cheers.
See you later.
No, I was. They're just playing the Glastonbury jingle, and I get a bit anxious because Glasgow is coming up next week, and these boys are very lucky to be able to go. They're looking forward to it enormously. They've already been whinging. I've trying to make sort of demands of them, but they won't seem to jump through the hoops, which is frustrating. Apparently, there's going to be bad weather, guys. Just to forewarn you, which I'm very annoyed about.
Good job we're in a hotel, yeah.
Yeah, very much indeed. Actually, do we have any response to my request for a helicopter?
No, I've been through the email, so
No,
it's
there's
nothing.
It's just we just don't have a high enough caliber of listener, do we? If only I were friends with, say, Richard Branson.
Yeah.
But obviously that's not happened. Virgin trains, though, brilliant, aren't they? No, seriously, come on. And the Virgin Cola, ooh, refreshing. But no, I went to try and buy some Wellingtons yesterday. Thought I ought to prepare. I went to a little shop, and the guy said we got any left because Russell Brand has just been in. He's just bought some.
What?
And I love it when people who kind of work in shops who are there just kind of appalled by someone who's got perhaps an eccentric clothes taste. Because he went, Russell Brand was in. Oh, what was he wearing? He had one pink Converse trainer, he had one white one, and he had no shirt on and only a jacket buttoned up. And it was drizzly. I don't know what he was thinking. And I could relate to him. But apparently Russell's got the last pair of Wellingtons in London.
This is it, because I was wondering where I was going to get